Hello everybody, welcome back to our channel, kaviwebdesigns. Today we're going to be continuing with the JavaScript e-course. Previously we have learned about JavaScript for. Today we're going to learn about JavaScript for in and for off. The JavaScript for in loop. The JavaScript for in statement loops through the properties of an object. So as you can see over here, here's the syntax. So for and then the key, and then in brackets we write the key, and then the in keyword, and then we have to write the object name. And then below and in the curly braces we have to write the code to be executed. So as you can see over here, here's an example. So as you can see over here in this example, we have declared an object called person using the const keyword. So we have given it three properties: f name, l name, and age, and they have John, Doe, and 25 respectively. So as you can see over here, we have declared a variable called text, which we are gonna add to. So as you can see in this for loop, we have declared a variable called x, and then we have written the in keyword and then person. So the properties of the person will go into this variable called x one by one. So as you can see over here, we're adding to text person bracket person square bracket x. So they're finding out what the value of the f name, l name, and age is. So let's look at that using Visual Studio Code. So as you can see over here, here is our example. So now when we run this example, you'll see that we'll get John, Doe, and 25. But let's see what will happen to x over here. So to know that, we have to write console.log and then brackets x. So now when we run this using Chrome again and press inspect and go to the console, as you can see over here, we're getting the property name. And as you can see in the code, we're getting the property names. We're using those property names to get those values. So that's why instead of using something else, we have used person.x. That's because you write f name over here, and then it will always show the f name. Since x is coming to the f name, and since these property names are coming to x over here, so then we can easily find it out. So now let's go back to the PPT to learn more. Example explained. For in loop iterates over a person object. Each iteration returns a key, which is x, and then the key is used to access the value of the key, and then the value is person bracket x square bracket close. For in arrays. For in over arrays. The JavaScript for in statement can be also loop over properties of an array. So as you can see over here, for variable in array. So that's the syntax. Instead of writing the object name, we write the variable name. So as you can see in this example, we have an array called number, and then in the for loop we have written let x in numbers. So we're basically telling that let x know the values of these numbers, and then text text plus equals numbers x. So it's giving out the index numbers to this so that it can find it out. Now let's look at that too. So as you can see over here, here's our example. And as you can see over here, we are adding BR tag to it to get a little more cleaner look. So now when we run this using Chrome, you will see that we'll get all of the numbers in the array. But let's see what is happening to x over here. So we can simply do that by using the console.log method. So now when we run this using Chrome, inspect, and go to the console, as you can see, we're getting the index numbers. And if we count over here 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, then as you can see, it is lining up to the ones over here 0 to 4. And we can even write them multiple amount of times. So console.log, but as you can see over here, it is getting an uncalled reference error because we're not in the for scope over here. So now let's go back to the PPT to learn more. Do not use for in over an array. If the index order is important, the index order is implementation dependent, and array values may not be accessed in the order you expect. It's better to use for loop or for off loop for each or array for each when the order is important. So now we're going to go to our next chapter, which is JavaScript for off. The for off loop. The JavaScript for off statement loops to the values of an iterable object. It lets you loop over iterable data structures such as arrays, strings, maps, node lists, and more. So as you can see, here's the syntax. For variable of iterable, and then the code to be executed in the curly braces. So as you can see, it is pretty similar to the syntax of foreign. But as you can see over here, we are writing over here a variable and an iterable on the other side instead of an object or all. So what is the meaning of variable over here? For iteration, the value of the next property is assigned to the variable. Variable can be declared with const, let, or where. And what is the meaning of iterable? Iterable, an object that has iterable properties. So you may ask, what is the browser support for off? Off was added to JavaScript 2015, year 6. Safari was the first browser to support off. So as you can see, here is a table for all modern browsers which support off. So as you can see, here are all the versions of them. But if you're using Internet Explorer, I'm sorry to say that off is not supported there. If you're using Internet Explorer, I advise you to switch to Chrome, Edge, or Safari if you're a MacBook user. Looping over an array. So as you can see over here, here's an example. So as you can see, we have declared a variable. We have declared an array called cars, and as you can see, we have 3 items in there: BMW, Volvo, and Mini. And as you can see over here, we have declared a variable called text and given it the value of an empty string. But we're gonna add to this. So for let x of cars, so and then over here in the code, let plus equals x. But as you can see over here, we're not writing cars square bracket open x square bracket close. That's because over here x items come in there, not the index numbers. So let's look at that too. So as you can see over here we have an example from the PPT. And now when we run this using Chrome, as you can see, we'll get an expected result where the loop is looping through the array and giving out our values. But let's see what is happening to x. So now when we run this using Chrome and inspect and go to the console, as you can see, it is giving out the item values in the array. So as you can see, instead of getting index numbers like 1, 2, 3, and 4, it's giving out the entire item values such as BMW, Volvo, and Mini. So that's why over here, instead of writing over here something like cars X, we are writing just X over here. As because the values of X over here are the items itself. So now let's go back to the PPT to learn more. Looping over a string. So as you can see over here, instead of looping over an array or an object, we are looping over a string using the off loop. So as you can see, we have declared a variable called language and given it the value of JavaScript. And we have declared a variable called text and given it the value of an empty string. And as you can see in our for loop, we have written let x of language. So each one of these letters are gonna go to x. And as you can see over here, we're adding x to text over here. So let's look at that too. So as you can see, here's the example that was in the PPT. So now when we run this using Chrome, as you can see over here, we're getting JavaScript in spaces. As because over here I have added a BR tag so that I can show you that I'm not just displaying this, but the loop, I'm displaying what is in the loop. So as you can see over here, we're getting each letter one by one. And if I remove the BR tag, and now when I run this using Chrome, as you can see, we'll just get JavaScript over here. But now let's see what is happening to X. We can see that by using console.log. So now when we run this using Chrome, you will see, and when we inspect and go to the console, as you can see over here, we are getting each JavaScript in letter by letter. So JAVASCRIPT. So as you can see, it is coming one by one. So folks, that is it for today. Thanks for watching. If you like this video and want to support us, please like, share, subscribe to our channel, Kaviwebdesigns. Keep on watching our videos, show some love, and have a nice day.